This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Authorities are almost certain fruit fly larvae at a Sprayton property originated in Queensland, with investigations continuing as we go to air tonight. The fruit growing industry is on high alert, with reports of a third detection of larvae on Flinders Island in the past 24 hours.
A biosecurity team cordons off the infected property. All fruit within 200 metres is stripped and bagged. Fruit fly traps rolled out along a 1.5 kilometre radius.
This event will be treated with the seriousness that it deserves.
Experts are 95% sure they've detected fruit fly larvae at the Sprayton property, something which has never been found before in fruit grown on Tasmania's mainland, sparking a vigorous response to protect a $50 million export industry.
They're throwing every resource at it, being extremely transparent with the information that's been given to us.
Of greatest concern are the major commercial fruit growers. An outbreak of fruit fly would jeopardise their access to key Asian markets, which could send some producers to the wall.
Cherries, for example, probably can export 65% to 65 to 75% of our crop load.
Authorities are also working intensely on Flinders Island, with a third larva detection overnight.
The finding of fruit fly on Flinders actually has alerted the public to actually go out and have a look at their fruit.
Every time there is fruit or vegetables or quarantine material seized at the pre-border, it's always a wake-up call.
The government says it has bolstered resources at airports and the Port of Melbourne during its term. The opposition argues the real wake-up call is for more biosecurity funding.
They have had an increase in the amount of cruise ships, an increase in the amount of flights in and out, an increase in the amount of boats coming in and out. Their workload has significantly increased.
We're working clearly closely with Biosecurity Tasmania and indeed industry on applying the resource where it's needed most.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
A woman has today been ordered to appear in court over the death of her dog, which the RSPCA will allege died from heat stress. She has recently been charged with aggravated animal cruelty over the incident in Mowbray. Our reporter Rita Risk has more.
A Launceston woman will appear in court next week over the death of her dog in 2016. The RSPCA will allege the dog died in a hot car from heat stroke when it wasn't given enough fresh air. She's been charged with aggravated animal cruelty.
We will allege that the rectal thermometer reading that the vet took immediately afterwards was in excess of 42 degrees Celsius, which is a lot higher than what it should be.
The incident happened just before midday, with temperatures only reaching 17 that day.
There is statistics that actually show that temperatures in cars can actually, almost double or pretty much double and more than that in a very short time, in a matter of about 5 to 6 minutes.
Temperatures this weekend, however, are set to soar over 30 degrees. The RSPCA are urging pet owners not to leave dogs in cars, even with the windows open.
Consider the dog, don't take it with you in the car, leave it at home. If you do take it in the car, have someone responsible with you, so when you need to leave the vehicle, that particular person can take the dog outside the vehicle, rehydrate it with water.
Over the past 12 months, the RSPCA have received up to 90 reports of animals being left in cars, mainly around shopping centres. A firm reminder to leave your pet at home on hot days where they have access to shelter and fresh water.
Those heading on camping trips this Australia Day long weekend are being urged to abide by fire restrictions. Extreme heat and dry vegetation has the Tasmania Fire Service on high alert as park rangers warn campfires won't be tolerated.
A briefing ahead of what's expected to be a weekend of extreme heat. Severe weather conditions prompting a warning from the fire service.
We are tinder dry in many locations and we've got high temperatures coming. If we have winds, we'll have fires that are really difficult to control. So we don't want people to be out there lighting fires and putting fire on the ground that we can't manage.
For those heading away on camping trips, that means campfires. Restrictions have been in place across much of the state since January.
Over the last 24 hours, we've had 5 unattended campfires, and in the last week we've had 20 fires reported to us in our reserve system.
With past examples of fatal fires caused by runaway campfires, Parks and Wildlife says it's important everyone abides by the rules. The potential for loss of life, the biggest penalty.
It's always worthwhile people when they visit one of our campgrounds to think about how they might be able to move out of that campground or to move to a safe location should a fire start.
The hottest day generally across the state is Sunday. Temperatures up towards the high 30s in parts of the state, particularly central and southwestern areas.
A total fire ban has now been declared for the state's south on Sunday as crews remain on standby for soaring temperatures.
We will have pre-positioned aircraft and strike teams, as we normally do, leading into times of total fire ban.
More information can be found on the TFS and Parks and Wildlife websites. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Labor has announced plans to build 3 multi-million-dollar developments in an attempt to address Tasmania's housing crisis. It comes as the government firms up its Jobs Action Plan, announcing new loans for tourism operators.
It's independent living like this Labor wants to seize on. Today, a $24 million election pledge for 3 multi-residential developments starting in the north.
We will be targeting over 55s, people living with a disability, that 18 to 25 cohort that struggle in the housing market, and also people fleeing from family violence.
St Michael's Living, an example of a thriving community hub, a new facility hoping to address Tasmania's ballooning housing issue.
We have a waiting list at the moment of a number of people waiting for accommodation, waiting to get in, waiting for the opportunity to be able to live independently.
We know that if you want to have a productive and engaged life in the community, you need to live somewhere safe, you need to have a home. It's not just about not being out in the elements.
And as the unofficial election campaign continues, the Premier's making his last few government budgeted commitments. More than $5 million worth of low-interest loans to help upgrade tourist accommodation and drive job creation.
We were about the 3rd highest unemployed in community in Tasmania at one stage, but that is now starting to change with the initiatives that we've had now, their mountain bike trails, the barway getting fixed, all those sort of things is creating jobs and opportunities for us.
It's really to be community-led in conjunction with the community sector and with business, both levels of government targeting it in a way that allows us to understand what barriers there are for people to get to work.
It's part of the existing Jobs Action Program. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
The final stage of the Three Capes track is finally complete, with walkers now able to experience the whole area. The current track is already a major drawcard for the state.
It's this dramatic coastline that draws visitors in from around the world. After 12 months of work, the final stage of the Three Capes track is complete.
The announcement of the completion of Cape Rail and the Shipstone Bluff Walk today is just part of us being at the cutting edge of tourism and walking experiences in Tasmania.
The increasingly popular track allowing visitors to take in the area of southeast Tasmania over 4 days and 3 nights.
It has won national and international awards already. There's been 23,000 visitors that have completed the track since its opening in December 2015.
It will definitely be lovely having the last cape because it is the Three Capes track, so you want to make sure that everyone gets the full experience when they do the walk.
The whole project cost $32.9 million, funded by the state and federal governments, and those behind it say it's paying off.
There's no doubt that the Three Capes track is taking on an iconic status as one of the world's best walks.
I think that will probably come down a bit later in the year. The boys aren't too far off being able to do it, we think.
This upgraded track is a 14-kilometre walk taking in Cape Rail and Shipstone's Bluff, experienced as part of a multi-day trip or in the one day.
And get a taste of what the whole Three Capes is about.
I've just tackled one today. 2 more to go.
I'm standing on one of the upgraded tracks here at Cape Rail. It winds 5 kilometres along the coastline, providing visitors a steady walkway to take in this incredible beauty.
It's remarkable, the remarkable cave and Cape Rail, and you've got whales, and it's just the dolerite rock formations here are just fantastic. Yeah.
Crescent Bay and Mount Brown next on the agenda, with this track set to be upgraded within 2 years.
And of course that'll encourage our visitors that are booked in for multi-day walks to come earlier or stay later and complete their Three Capes experience.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A group of Tasmanian aged care workers have held a protest over a pay dispute. The union representing workers at Southern Cross Care says an offer for back pay has been removed during negotiations. But the package does include a pay rise of above 2%.
Essentially, the key concern is, though, that our members are just not feeling valued and respected for the work that they do for really vulnerable residents in their care.
The company will hold a board meeting to discuss the issue next week. Australia Day preparations are almost complete across Tasmania, with the Sandy Bay Regatta set to take full advantage of the warm weather.
We're telling people to bring their swimmers because we've got a lot of come and try type activities such as kayaking, stand-up surfboarding, learn to sail with the Royal Tasmanian Yacht Club, so a lot happening on the water.
A number of younger helping hands have been testing the range of activities on offer across the day. The regatta runs from 8:30 tomorrow morning. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has finished marginally in the red, with only a resilient mining sector keeping a soft market out of deeper losses. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 4.7 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 80.93 US cents and 109.69 New Zealand cents.
Alex Doolan will be good to go for the Hurricanes' must-win clash against the Melbourne Stars on Saturday after recovering from a nasty head blow that saw him miss the side's last game. The informed batsman says destiny is now in the Canes' hands.
It took 5 days for Doolan to fully recover from this.
It wasn't until the next day that I started feeling a little bit dazed and had a few headaches that have now stopped. So on the mend and ready to go.
The hard-hitting Tasmanian has been named in the Canes squad for Saturday's do-or-die match against the Stars and is keen to carry on his impressive form, which saw him knock 70 runs in a loss to the Strikers before being forced to sit out the side's narrow loss to the Scorchers in Perth last week.
To be in those games, having not played our best cricket, is really positive for us, and we know that it's not far away. I don't think we've played our best game.
Despite an underwhelming season for the Stars, Doolan expects them to come out firing in front of a home MCG crowd in what will be the last BBL match for several of their big guns.
They've got some dynamite players who are actually starting to find some form. Glennie Maxwell hit 80 odd in the last game, and having Kevin Peterson come back in is a really big boost for them.
Meantime, Jordan Silk is set to potentially miss the Tigers' entire Sheffield Shield season, needing 6 screws and a plate put in after breaking his collarbone in the Sydney Sixers win over the Stars on Tuesday night. Silk is expected to spend at least 6 weeks on the sidelines.
Back home now, but still on soccer, and the Northern Rangers' bid to become a title contender in 2018 has been given a boost, with the club securing Argentinian striker Federico Kalani-Kano for the upcoming NPL season.
To have a new experience and to do what they love, to play football.
The side clawed its way back from last to 5th by the end of the 2017 season, and it's hoped the new addition, who spent the past 7 years playing for his neighbourhood club in Argentina, could prove key to breaking the Rangers' silverware drought. Finally in sport tonight, Queensland pacer Dastrio will be hoping to ride into the record books in Launceston on Sunday night, aiming to become only the 3rd horse in Australian trotting history to notch up 100 wins. The 14-year-old is likely to start favourite against a mix of local and interstate horses, and is coming off a few recent wins, including his last start in Hobart last month. And Joe, that is all I've got for you this Thursday night.
All right, thanks so much for that, Tom. Have a great Australia Day tomorrow. Well, the weather forecast coming up right after the break with Murph.
Good evening. Hobart 27 today, Launceston 29, with Burnie and Devonport reaching 23 degrees. 31 the high today at Ouse and Bushy Park. Campania 29, but expecting 10 degrees warmer on Sunday. Fingal 28, Friendly Beaches and Grove 27, Flinders Island 26 and Helens 25. Bridport and Maria Island both 24 degrees, Wynyard, Lyowini and Strawn 23. Cloud over the Tasman Sea also pushes back over New South Wales and central South Australia. Not much else to speak of. Some middle level cloud over inland WA and cloudy conditions with the monsoon trough over the far north. And over us, not much to report either, apart from the low cloud near the Furneaux group and the far northeast of the state. Tomorrow, a weak ridge remains over Tasmania, most of the country affected by lows and troughs, apart from the east coast where a high pressure ridge is evident. Winds mostly light and from the east-southeast with inshore afternoon sea breezes. And for the forecast, partly cloudy and 25 for Hobart, warming up to 28 for Huonville and Campania. Launceston, a hot day, possible shower, 32 degrees, 26 for Devonport, 25 for Georgetown. Burnie, partly cloudy and 26. Wynyard the same, Strawn partly cloudy and 25. And for St Helens, a shower or two and 25. 24 for Swansea, a shower later, and also for Port Arthur with 23 degrees. UV very high for Hobart and extreme elsewhere. On Saturday, hot and humid, sparking a few showers apart from the west and south. A morning shower over the north and east on Sunday and very hot and humid for most of the state. And on Monday, rain extending statewide during the morning before contracting to the northeast. Sunny in Perth, humid and cloudy in Adelaide and Melbourne. Showers and storms forecast for Canberra, Darwin and Cairns. Partly cloudy over Hobart, it's 22, clear in the north, 24 in Launceston, 21 right now in Devonport. Joe, I'll be back tomorrow night to help you through the Australia Day Bulletin.
Yes, where would I be without you? Thank you very much, Murph. Before we leave you tonight, an Australia Day reminder from Tasmania Police to those of you heading out on the water this weekend. Alcohol limits still apply. Marine officers will be monitoring the waterways. There will also be an increased police presence on our roads and in public places.
If you're planning on having a drink over the weekend, then also plan alternative arrangements to get home. The safest option is to do that. Don't drink drive, don't drug drive. If you're fatigued, then take advantage of the SES supported driver reviver sites over the weekend.
Uniform and undercover police will be on patrol across the long weekend. And that's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.